This is an update to the story posted a few days back about the sister who was a proud mistress and home wrecker. Let's read the update. I am not going to tell my sister to get rid of the baby. That's not my place, and I would never suggest such a thing. Also, I am not going to install tracking software on her phone or demand access to all her devices. That's invasive and wrong. I've been thinking a lot, and while I can't say that I don't love my sister, it's very hard to feel that love right now. I don't know who she is anymore. It's not just that she lied to me, it's what she did, and how convinced she is that she was justified because they were in love. She's brought chaos into my home that I opened up to her. I'm deeply disappointed in her, and I just don't like her at the moment. I'm letting her stay with me because I don't want her to become dependent on him. I don't think he is a good man either, and as a social worker, I've seen these scenarios too many times. My sister is already deluded. I don't need to open the door to a dependency that's also financial. Now on to the update. I haven't been punishing my sister, but I've been treating her like a roommate. This is driving her crazy. She's begging me to go back to how things were before, but I can't. I told her that I need time and that things can't just return to normal overnight. She tried to explain how it all happened. She admitted that she always knew he was married, but believed she could tell how unhappy he was and felt he deserved to be happy. They met at a bar a few weeks after his son's accident. He told her that his wife hadn't touched him since it happened and that he was about to explode. I asked her why she would involve herself with a married man, knowing the hurt it would cause. She said she wanted to be a wife and a good mom, and that included his kids. She had hoped he would divorce his wife so they could all move on and finally be happy together. I just stared at her, unable to comprehend how she could rationalize her actions. A few days later, he appeared at our house, claiming he had left his wife and wanted to be with my sister. I told him to leave immediately or I would call the police. My sister was furious with me, accusing me of ruining her chance at happiness. I made it clear to her, if it comes over again, I will evict her. She's free to date anyone she wants, but not under my roof. I also told her that if she plans to have him around after the baby is born, she'll need to find her own place. Word has gotten around our community about the affair. While we were grocery shopping, a woman even spat on my sister. Many of her friends have cut ties with her, calling her a home wrecker. Some are married themselves and don't want her near their husbands. I haven't said I told you so even once. We unexpectedly ran into his wife at a local cafe. My sister wanted to apologize and suggested that maybe they could all have a good relationship for the sake of the kids. The wife laughed coldly and said, "You made your choices. Now live with them. Don't expect me to make this easier for you." My sister is devastated and has been lying in bed ever since. I'm taking care of her physical needs, making sure she eats, stays hydrated, and attends her prenatal appointments, but I can't bring myself to comfort her emotionally. I just don't have it in me right now. Now for the top comments. Why wouldn't he just call or text her and tell her to meet him? Makes absolutely no sense. I honestly think his wife threw him out, and he was scoping out if he could stay with her, but that's just my theory. They met at a bar a few weeks after his son's accident. He told her that his wife hadn't touched him since it happened and that he was about to explode. Wow, what a catch. Any parent will know the trauma of having to go without sex after one of your kids has been seriously injured. Imagine getting successfully rizzed up by "I'm about to explode." LMAO. You're not the a-hole for feeling hurt and setting boundaries. Your sister made her choices, and now she has to face the consequences. Exactly. She made her choices, and Opie don't owe her emotional support right now. And the choice she made has destroyed lives. She deserves what she faces, as does that trash husband. To be honest, Opie is better than I would be, letting a cheater with no remorse stay with her. But maybe it will help the sister stay away from that trash husband. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I won't be her surrogate? I, 30 female, have an identical twin sister. We'll call her Stacy for the sake of the story. Our mother unfortunately passed in child labor and we were raised by our father. Stacy has been married to Jeff for 8 years. I have been in a relationship with Mike for 3 years now. One thing I've always known about my sister is that she wanted to be a mom. Even when we were children, she was always thinking about wedding ideas, nursery themes, baby names, etc. I was always more focused on books and having fun. I am now a flight attendant. I am also attempting to become a published author. My sister has not worked ever honestly. When we graduated high school, we went straight to college. She met his boyfriend in college and once she graduated, became a stay-at-home girlfriend until she became his wife. I have known for a while that my sister has been attempting to become pregnant, unsuccessfully. She has experienced a single miscarriage and has been unable to become pregnant again after thousands and thousands of dollars being spent on IVF. And pretty much anything they could do because she wanted to experience pregnancy. After 5 years of no success, they have started to discuss other options. My sister isn't interested in adoption and is very adamant in having a child that has both their DNA. Her words, not mine. About 3 weeks ago, she came to my house and we were hanging out as we usually do, just chatting and watching Modern Family. She told me she had a serious question and needed to ask me while she still had her nerves. It scared me, but she asked if I could be her surrogate. I was frozen for a second and asked what she meant. She told me that I know what a surrogate was. She needed me to be her surrogate. I expressed that she knew that I wasn't interested in having children. This could definitely be due to how we came into the world, but I'll be honest and say I have never found the thought of having children appealing in any way. I told her that I would have zero issue with donating my eggs to her, however many she needed. She could have them all, but I could not carry her child. Upon hearing that, she became so angry. Her face was so red, and she was just yelling about how it's obvious how jealous and hateful I am because this is a small task. I didn't want to bring it to her attention that she has always spoke about having more than 4 kids. Would the expectation be for me to do this every time? I don't know. I'm starting to feel so bad. She ended up telling me that if I couldn't do this one thing for her, how could I ever call myself her sister? She broke a picture of us I have sitting on my mantle and stormed out. Since then, she's only texted me pictures of her diaries from when we were kids and all of their vision boards saying that I am stopping her from creating a family for no reason and to think about the bigger picture. My boyfriend refuses to give me advice saying that it's my sister and he doesn't feel comfortable attempting to sway me in either direction because it's such a touchy subject. Honestly, this is the longest I've ever gone without communicating with my sister, and I am seriously on the verge of giving in. Most doctors would refuse to allow you to be a surrogate as you've not previously had children. She'll be hard-pressed to find one that would. Not to mention, she's asking her sister to sacrifice her body and potentially her life to fulfill her dream. That's not fair at all. If she can afford IVF, she can afford a surrogate, not the a-hole. I'd also add that her losing her temper in this way screams she's not stable enough to enter this sort of relationship with, not the a-hole. I'm a dude, so can only compare it to donating a kidney. I might donate a kidney to one of my siblings, but if they demand it, disown me. Break pictures if I don't jump at the chance. That's no longer abuse. That's insanity. Sorry, her sister is insane. Or she's worried her husband will leave her or make her go to work. She's a stay-at-home mother who can't have children. She's thinking, how dare sis refuse the obvious solution to my problems? I do think her husband is applying a lot of pressure. When she made the same DNA comment during a football game, her husband gave me this look. I don't know how to even properly explain it, but it was like he was expecting me to offer. Ew. Edit. I am reading all the comments and I want to say thank you so much. I feel so much better knowing I'm not the villain, but I would be lying if I said I am not leaning towards just doing it. This disconnect with my sister brings me immense discomfort in ways I cannot verbally express, but I see 2 frequent questions I want to answer to hopefully get different answers. 1. Money. My mother did not die of natural causes. It was provider error. My father sued a hospital, and my sister and I have sizable trusts with that money. So money is not an issue to either of us, and her husband is financially well off as well. So not working for 9 months or paying for the egg retrieval process, etc. isn't an issue in any way. It's more so her stubbornness for the baby to share our DNA and for one of us to be carrying it. 2. Since we're identical, if she can't have a baby, how can I? Her lack of being able to have a child is due to a car accident we were in, which is also the source of the miscarriage she experienced. Due to her being in the front seat with our father, they took the brunt of the crash, unfortunately. Her body is now unable to carry a child, and she has had extreme complications with egg retrieval. I'm not sure about the details of how that has gone wrong, just that it is not working and not an option. It is hard to get her to discuss non-viable options so I can gain a better understanding. 3. Doctors will not allow me to be a surrogate due to me not having a child. Thank you so much for this information. We have family dinner this upcoming Thursday because we always watch football with our dads and significant others. I'm sure this topic will come up if she decides to attend. I'm hoping I can bring this up to her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for agreeing to divorce my wife when she joked about it? Yesterday, me and my wife were just chilling and watching TV. My wife all of a sudden said that she wants a divorce and started laughing hysterically. She was quite drunk. She drinks, I do not. I was shocked when she suddenly asked me for divorce. I have been with her for the past 6 years. All this time was spent together, she never ever asked me something so absurd. I got angry and said, sure, divorce that way, send me papers but make it fair. She stopped laughing and got sad. I am used to her sarcastic questions about it. I would do something like this or that for her, or absurdity like I would jump off the hill for her, etc., but I never saw this coming my way. But she this time got sad and angry and became serious and asked me, am I for real? I said, sure I am. You want to leave me? Then leave. I can't stop you. Or do you want me to physically stop you? She got very angry and started crying and said that I wouldn't even fight even a little to save our marriage and just agreed to divorce without reacting. She asked me, have I stopped loving her? I told her I love her, but if you want to leave me, I won't stop you or beg you. My wife got very angry and slapped my chest and said, bad husband. I tried to stop her and ask her to talk to me, but she didn't listen to me. She's been ignoring me since yesterday. Today I went to talk to her and she said that I need to become a better man and husband and fight for my wife, instead of just agreeing to divorce like a heartless pig. And until I work on myself, she will not talk to me and she's been ignoring me. She gave me food, sat next to me, but whenever I try to talk to her, she doesn't reply. I was thinking of apologizing, but I also thought I don't need to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. You need to be a better wife and not make a joke out of ending our marriage. Yes, she's the one who needs to work on herself. If you say stuff like that when you drink, maybe you don't need to drink. Not the a-hole. Your wife's joke crossed a line, and it's unfair for her to expect you to beg and plead for her to stay after a cruel and drunk comment. Marriage takes mutual effort and respect, and it seems like your wife needs to work on those things, instead of expecting you to constantly prove your love for her. Stand your ground and have a serious conversation about boundaries and communication in your relationship. Plus, let's be real. Who jokes about divorce while drunk? That's not funny or acceptable. It's valid that OP felt hurt and taken aback by her request for a divorce, especially considering their long history together. Not the a-hole. Exactly. He has every right to feel his way. She asked a hurtful question and then didn't like the answer she received. OP, she needs to grow the heck up. If she cannot control her drinking or her mouth, then perhaps y'all really are not compatible. You did nothing wrong. She literally fooled around and found out. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not a-hole. Although she sounds horrible and manipulative, you should actually consider divorcing her for real. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom why none of her 5 boys have given her grandkids? I'm the youngest of 5 boys. When I was 13, my mom and biological dad split. My oldest brother went to stay with my aunt. The rest of us went to stay with my grandma while our parents tried to find happiness. Dad completely fell off the face of the earth after about 4-ish years. I think he talks to my oldest brother every so often. My mom got her own place a few miles away from my grandma. She visited often and even spent the night every now and then. So the twins only stayed for like a year, then went and joined the Navy. The brother between the twins and I stayed for 2 years, then met a girl, went to college, and they got married. Then there was me. 13 to 18, I lived with my grandma and was almost completely alone for 2 years out in the middle of nowhere. I love my grandma, but there was only so much an 80-year-old woman and a teenage boy could talk about. I felt abandoned. Fast forward, I finished high school and went to college. Did a whole shebang. We're all adults now doing our thing. Well, my mom is always like, "Why won't any of you give me grandchildren?" First of all, I'm gay, but she even asks me if I'll find a nice man, settle down and adopt. But my other brothers are straight. None of them have or want kids. So the conversation got intense and she was being very dramatic. So I said it. I said what was on everyone's mind. "Mom, I think none of us want kids because of how you and Dad left us with Grandma, because you both deserve to be happy. I'm glad you found your happiness, but I would never do such a thing to a child, especially if I had the means to take care of them. It scares me that I could possibly wake up one day and think differently. That I could wake up, tell my kids to pack their things. I'm taking you to Grandma's where you're going to live from now on, even though your father and I are perfectly capable of taking care of you." She cried. A lot. But I couldn't take the "where are my grandkids" conversation anymore. I could not listen to her bring that up one more time. I did feel terrible and we haven't talked in like 2 weeks. I'm not sure what to think. Not all. The truth hurts most when we know we're wrong. There has to be a part of your mom who knows what she did was wrong, and I wouldn't be shocked if she saw grandchildren as her chance at a do-over. I wasn't there for my kids, but I can make up for it by being there for my grandkids, hence her pestering. Instead, she's now being told that her choices have consequences, and she won't get her do-over because of what she did. She didn't want to parent, so now she won't get to grandparent. I'd cry too if I'd been such a poor parent, be it due to negligence, abuse, or, as in your mom's case, my absence and refusal to be a parent caused my kids to be scared to or put off of having children of their own because they're worried that they would repeat my mistakes. There is no delicate way to put that, because a truth like that will always hurt. Who wants to be confronted with the harm they've caused and the damage they've done? You were not wrong for telling her, not least because the only way to stop her pestering and questioning is to tell her why, and you put it as diplomatically as possible. The grandkids were gonna be her do-over. Listen, I had a similar issue. My parents raised me and my brother in brutal abject poverty, and also neglected both of us in brutal fashion. I always wondered why she ever bothered to have kids. She said we were both planned. In any case, I vowed I would never bring children into our extremely dysfunctional family setting. My brother and father died of an overdose on the same day. In 2019, before my mother passed away from COVID, I had to tell her the family name was dying with me because I had a vasectomy and would never procreate. She was extremely upset, but the truth hurts sometimes.